Hi sewing friends, my name's Karina. This is my channel, Lifting Pins and Needles, where you get a lot of sewing, lots of creativity, limitless sewing as I like to call it. And this is a more personal video. It's more of a reflection video. I've sat down here in the front of my house. It's very green, it's very relaxing. There's lots of bugs and birds, and I hope I can get my message through. It's something I've been trying to think about for the last couple of days. And there was something that triggered it that happened that really caused me to have a big blown crisis. It's all related to the channel, I promise. And then after getting through that hurdle, I sort of extrapolated that into life and sewing, and I just wanted to share that with you. I mentioned several times that I've started my channel when I just turned 38. Yesterday, I turned 46, so I've been here quite a while. And for all of these years, I had used a very simple editing program I found back then in 2017 that was free at the time. I tested many softwares before even starting the channel. I would film certain things and try to edit them, and it was a very hard process for me. I'm not as techy as you would think, although I do learn things, as time goes by. It doesn't come that easy for me, and it's been a huge struggle to learn how to do this because I have to do it myself. I really can't outsource editing for me because I know what's important. I know how things need to be. My editing is quite complex. If I had a channel where I just talk to the camera like lots of people do, then it would be easy for someone to collate that and put that together. But this is so much into my videos, and I pour my heart and soul into them. And so I had started using that software. It was called HitFilm. It was free at the beginning. Then they introduced a pro version that I paid for every year. And I just got really comfortable, so comfortable. I knew that there were many things I couldn't do with that editing software. It was quite limited. Sometimes I saw other videos having different effects and types of fonts and letters and all that. And I always thought, I wish I could improve, but I was just so comfortable using that editing software. I never really took the time or even felt the pressure to go ahead and look at something better for myself that would make the channel look better, that would even optimize the time it took me to create all of this content. This is so deep into what I do here on this channel. I wish you knew how long this took. So I'll get to my point after I tell you what happened. So in January, I got an email from this brand, this company, HitFilm, and I was just informed, by January 15th, we will not exist anymore. We're going out of business. They said if you had downloaded the latest version, you could keep using it for free under a special license. I thought, oh, well, that's okay. I'll still keep using my software. I'm so used to it. It's all very familiar. There's no stress about it. I know what I have to do to achieve what I need to do for my editing, which is still quite basic. I'm not a filmmaker, you know what I mean? I do my best. And my brother sort of crushed my dreams a little bit because I told him I was in Chile, but back with my family at the time. I showed him the email and he said, yeah, I don't know if anything changes on Windows, it'll probably stop working, and it'll just stop working out of the blue. And I thought, well, if I can have a month or two, but I still kept putting it off to go and look for another editing software and learn something new. Why? Because I was so comfortable with my ways and I didn't want to challenge myself and learn something new. And that is a type of way of life that can catch us in other aspects of our life as well, not just in one. But in this one, let's say, I'm comfortable, I'm not techy, learning these things is hard for me, and I didn't really want to put myself through learning something from scratch. Well, what happened? One Thursday night, I just turned on my editing. I started editing. I'd done maybe 5 minutes of it, and that software actually crashed. And it just crashed and crashed and crashed, and it would not open. There was no way. So basically on a Thursday night a couple of weeks ago, I had to look for another software. My son helped me and I was able to download a new software, and I wanted to put up video up the next day. I started that night looking at tutorials. Basically, I had to give myself a crash course on how to use the new editing software I was going to have to start using. And I cried. Oh my gosh, that night I was in tears. I thought my channel was over. I thought I would never learn how to do something new, especially because I'd procrastinated and hadn't given myself the time to learn this new skill before my other software actually crashed. And how many times do we do that to ourselves? It's just not good. And it affected me. It affected me so much. And I was able to just any little step that I wanted to do, I had to Google and look at tutorials and learn on the go. And the first video I produced in the new software took me like 12 hours to edit, when in my older one, it would have taken around two hours. So if you see any difference in how the videos look, how the fonts look, how some transitions look, you know, some text on the screen, little things like that, I'm still learning. I hope at one point I can get really proficient at it. I'm very, very happy with the new software I'm using. I have to be honest, it's 100% better than the one I was using before. And moral of the story, I should have taken the leap before. I should have not gotten stuck in my ways and used that old software for almost 8 years, knowing it wasn't the better thing out there, just staying there, stuck in my ways, just because I was comfortable there and because I didn't want to challenge myself. It's been a couple of days. I have already started learning more. Every day I'm learning more how to do new things. Every day I'm excited about the new visuals I can have on this software and how beautiful these videos can look now, instead of the old way. And I wanted just to jump and apply that to sewing. I've done that to myself as well. For many years, I didn't sew pants because I was comfortable just wearing skirts. And I'd had a pant that fit me originally beautifully, and I would just make it over and over again. I'd done all the fitting to it. And one time I moved to another country, I lost that pattern and I didn't want to start from scratch again. Just comfortable in my ways, comfortable wearing my dresses and my blouses and my skirts. And I just stopped sewing pants for such a long time. I'd say from about 2013 to 2018, I just did not sew pants. I didn't. I'd buy pants. I'd use the old ones I'd made. I just did not sew pants. But then I dove right back into what I'd already known, what was already comfortable for me in the past. And I went through this whole process of diving deep into pants again in 2018. And since then, you know, I haven't looked back. Every time I sew a pair of pants, it's a new mini challenge, and it's always so satisfying to achieve something new. And so this, you can apply it to yourself with whatever you're doing in your sewing, where you're just comfortable sewing one type of way. Maybe you're just stuck sewing knits and you've been sewing knit garments for years and years and years, and you just do not want to take the plunge into sewing something that's made out of a woven fabric. You know, I think you can be missing out. You're missing out on a challenge to yourself. You're missing out on something that could be very satisfying for yourself. You're missing out on so much fabric that is amazing out there, that is woven, that is not knit. It can also run the opposite way. I started actually just with wovens for so long. And then when I saw knit fabric and it was stretchy, I was like, meh, it always behaves differently. There's no predictability about how it's going to behave and how it's going to fit compared to woven fabric. And that was a hurdle I had to adjust myself to be able to go into sewing knits and enjoying it. And I'd say up to this day, I still enjoy sewing the woven fabrics a bit more. So we all have those different things. Maybe it's got to do with your machine, your sewing machine. Maybe you know that it's time to upgrade. It's been giving you problems. It's old. It's just not giving you the results that you want. But you're just stuck there in your comfort zone and you don't want to try a new machine because you're scared. So what am I saying? Let's just not get stuck in what we're doing all the time. Let's just advance. Let's just better ourselves. Let's challenge ourselves to create new things. I know sewing is supposed to be super fun and super relaxed, and that is the way I view it. I always want to sew what I like. I want it to turn out how I like. That's why I make adjustments and hacks. I also want to create beautiful things. I also want to challenge myself. And I also want to make easy, nice things as well. So keeping it in a nice balance. My next challenge is to learn about cover stitch machines. Now that I sew more knits than I did in the past, I think it could be beneficial for me, especially for doing the hems and sewing more activewear. I think it would be something that would be really amazing to have. And if at one point I can learn how to use it and I can save and be able to afford that type of machine, I think that would be something great for me. Although I wouldn't have thought it would have given me any use when I was only sewing wovens, or even just a couple of years ago, I would have said, I will never have a cover stitch. That's just not useful for me. I'm never going to have it. Maybe someday I will. Maybe in a year or two, I'm going to go there and take that dive into learning how to use a new machine. As I go on with my little blurb and my thinking, all this I'm talking to you about, let's interrupt this with a Feature Friday sewing pattern from Love Notions. It's a Metra blazer. It's gorgeous. I've made 5 versions. I've put them on just right now so you can see how they look. I'm going to show you from the oldest to the newest I've made. I've paired them with really recently made dresses. My birthday dress from yesterday. This is a Linda dress from Sinclair Patterns. You're also going to see my Dakota dress from Sinclair Patterns paired with one of these. So let's see that if you don't have this pattern, what have you been doing? You're missing out. The Metra blazer from Love Notions is the Feature Friday pattern for today. Great time to get it for about 60% off, just $5. It's a great deal. I'm going to be showing you all of mine. You find my affiliate link in the description box and at the top of the comment section. Make sure you grab it. It's a steal. This is the first Metra blazer I made when the pattern was released. It's a really thick, neat. I used the contrast fabric for the lapel in here. Got the long sleeves scrunched up because it's really hot. Later on, I added on this belt that I hand sewed on just as something extra, and I really like it. It's the only one where I actually sewed the pocket, which is partially covered by the belt. I've got it paired with jeans here. It's really easy to dress up a pair of jeans with such a lovely blazer like this one. This little belt and the D-rings, you know, it's just for something extra I wanted to add about a year after I'd made it. Done all the tutorial. It's a pretty long video, but pretty in-depth, so you can see how to sew it. This is my second Metra blazer in a gorgeous Ponte Roma. It's so lovely. It's got the same type of lapel with the angles. Got it paired with some burgundy pants. I think it goes really well because of the tone here in the print. So lovely. Now, I always make this one because I love these angles, but you also have the rounded lapel and a more straight silhouette down the center, which doesn't change the way that you sew it. It's just a different shape, but this is my favorite. This one does not have pockets because I don't have use for pockets, so I just skip them and just sew the seams. So easy. This is so lovely. I've worn this so many times. Absolutely gorgeous. My third one is using a textured scuba suede. I thought it was really thick and it didn't really need the facings or the hem. I just left all the edges raw. I love this green. I love it over this dress with a green print. So nice and so much faster to make than the original. Check out this texture, raw edges, beautiful color on the other side as well because you can see the lapel there, the contrast, and I think that's pretty. I love this tone of green. This was so easy to make because all the edges are raw. I did have a lot of fun making this sleeve a two-piece sleeve right here instead of a one-piece sleeve. That was a fun task to do. It's just way too hot, so I've got them scrunched up. I made this sleeveless version in scuba suede at the beginning of 22, and I think I've probably worn this about 100 times. I don't know. I worn it so much because it's just so versatile. Super light to put on. Sleeveless is super handy for me, and it goes over most of my dresses. I think it's got some lovely shaping, so you can wear fit and flare dresses like this one underneath, or raw edges, or very nice, very easy. The lapel, even though it's big, you know, it just falls nice and streamlined, so it doesn't interfere with the nice necklines that you wear underneath, like here. So that's why I love it so much. And then I had to make another one just like it, just in another color, and that's the last one. This is my fifth one. I made it last year at the end of October. Same raw lapel, raw edges, all of that in the scuba suede again, just in caramel tones. I think the caramel goes beautiful with the blue and the black tones in this dress. My sandals, same color as the blazer, just to bring it all together. Don't forget to grab your Metra blazer today, only for $5. Make it all in with the facings, the pocket, all that. I have a tutorial, or just simplify it like this, and it can turn out really fast, or it can take a bit longer. Worth the challenge for sure. I hope seeing that little summary of the blazers was a fun ad. I always love to add some styled content in here. For me, it's fun to produce. I love dressing up, and I hope it's fun for you to watch. Now, I'm very happy with my new editing software. I've been improving my audio. I've got better microphones. I'm always really concerned about videos not only having amazing sewing content, but also looking beautiful, looking gorgeous. And that's why I love filming out here, because it's just so green and so nice. It's literally my outdoor sauna. It's very hot out here, but I still feel good out here. And I hope that brings you that same feeling that I get over here of peace and nature. And I love that. So I'm willing to take the bug. Another way I'd been getting stuck in my ways had to do with the way I was training at the gym. For a long time, I thought I knew it all. I'd done so much research. I had so much experience, but I was always doing the same stuff. I was barely progressing in the way that I was doing my weights. I wasn't adding more weight or becoming stronger. I was sort of stuck in the same, which means you're stuck in the same results. And since I got a personal trainer and my whole training changed and it made a huge difference, it is improving the quality of my life, and I'm getting stronger and I'm seeing results. And So what am I saying? Don't get stuck in your ways. Don't get stuck doing the same thing. And as we add years to our life, I think it's easier to just get comfortable and just stay there, just stay doing the same thing, you know, but we can always get out of that, challenge ourselves, do something new. I'm so happy with my new editing software. I'm so happy with the changes I've been making. And I'm just a happy 46-year-old person, happy to turn more years, happy to become older, happy to have more experiences and just have more confidence. I'm so confident now in the things that I'm doing in my life. And I hope I'm able to portray a little bit of positivity and encouragement for you, not just in sewing, but have a think about your life and things that you might want to improve and just go for it. There's nothing to really regret if you try, and you might be happier with how things turn out once you take the deep dive, like I have in so many things. And I just wanted to share all of this one day after my birthday. This is totally unscripted. I'm just talking right out of my brain. I hope I'm making sense. I just wanted to include all these thoughts in a different type of video, a bit more personal. I also wanted to share something personal that's going on in my family. You can stop watching right here if you're not interested in that. I rarely share personal things, but it's got to do with my son. He's my only son, my only pregnancy. He's my life. He's just turned 18, and for a long time, he never really knew what he was going to do after school. Of course, he was going to do some type of higher education. He's been already interested in a topic. I'm not going to give too many details. He's been self-learning to do some things, and he's already sort of getting some small jobs, like learning on the go, but he also wants to train, formally in that area. And he wanted to do this overseas. It turns out that high school here in Brazil is not compatible, obviously, with a lot of high schools in other countries. So they won't accept him with this high school diploma. So basically, they want him to do 1 year of any tertiary education in a university. Could be anything. He just has to do 1 year successfully. And then they will accept him in the country that he wants to go, which means next year, he's going to go far away, probably to never come back, or maybe just to come and visit us for a little bit. Even though I know the months are going to go really, really fast, and he's 18, he's much more independent. As a mom, I'm just happy to have him for another year. It's just amazing. Any moment I have with him in the house is going to be a blessing. I left home when I was 18. I went to study. I never actually came back home. I just went to visit here and there. And so I know that time is coming for him. And this extra year that we have with him is just a huge blessing. We're going to have him around a little bit more. So I'm grateful for that. Now, next year when he leaves, I don't know how I'm going to cope. I'm going to have to deal with that when the time comes. It's going to be pretty hard. The empty nest situation. I'm dreading it. And I never thought all this time was going to pass by so quickly. When he was born, everything seems like, we've got years and years. You never know how years go by. When I started this sewing channel, he just turned 10 years old, and now he's 18. Like, where does all that time go? All is great in my life. I'm a very happy person right now. I'm trying to have a little bit of work-life balance, trying to do that as much as I can so I can enjoy doing other things as well, not just sewing and editing. A little bit of my personal life. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to have a weekend just with my son here, my hubby. He's away teaching in Argentina. Hope he brings me a piece of fabric from over there. I'll be back next week with more sewing on this channel. See you then. Bye.